The year 2024 marked a turning point in the Syrian conflict. For over a decade, Bashar al-Assad had clung to power, his regime stained with the blood of countless Syrians. The country lay in ruins, its people scattered by war and displacement. Yet Assad remained defiant, presenting himself as the sole guarantor of Syrian sovereignty against a tide of terrorism. However, the tide was turning. Years of grueling conflict had taken their toll on Assad's forces. Morale was low, resources were dwindling, and the once formidable Syrian army was a shadow of its former self. Just days before the fall of Damascus, Ali Larijani, a high-ranking Iranian official, met with Assad. The meeting was tense, Larijani leaving with the grim realization that Assad's grip on power was slipping. Despite the increasingly desperate situation, Assad remained seemingly oblivious to the impending collapse. He continued to rely heavily on his military, ignoring pleas for negotiation and reconciliation from both domestic and international actors. In a last-ditch effort to bolster his crumbling regime, Assad turned to his external backers, Iran and Hezbollah. By November 2024, the opposition, spearheaded by the formidable Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, launched a decisive offensive from their stronghold in Idlib. HTS, a group with deep roots in the Syrian conflict, had transformed from an al-Qaeda affiliate into a dominant force in the opposition landscape. Their objective was topple the Assad regime and establish an Islamic state. The rebel advance was swift and relentless. City after city fell: Aleppo, Hama, Homs, each victory fueling the opposition's momentum and further eroding the morale of Assad's forces. The regime's propaganda machine, once adept at controlling the narrative, struggled to keep pace with the rapidly deteriorating situation on the ground. The fall of each city brought the opposition closer to Damascus, the heart of Assad's power. Panic began to grip the capital as residents, sensing the regime's imminent demise, prepared for the inevitable. On December 8, 2024, the unthinkable happened. Damascus fell. Opposition forces met with little resistance, entered the capital, their victory marking the symbolic and strategic end of the Assad regime. As rebel fighters celebrated their hard-fought victory on the streets of Damascus, Assad's whereabouts remained a mystery. In the chaotic hours that followed, conflicting accounts emerged regarding Assad's final movements. Some reports suggested he had fled to Latakia, the ancestral homeland of the Alawite minority from which he hailed. Others speculated that he had sought refuge in a Russian military base, hoping for extraction from the country. From there, under the cover of darkness, Assad was flown to Russia, his escape marking a dramatic end to his family's decades-long rule. Section 4. A New Dawn, the Interim Government and the Promise of Change. With Assad gone and his regime in shambles, a sense of cautious optimism swept through parts of Syria. The international community, long deadlocked over the Syrian crisis, expressed hope for a peaceful transition of power. In the power vacuum left by Assad's departure, an interim government was swiftly formed, tasked with the daunting challenge of rebuilding a shattered nation. The interim government, led by Ahmed al-Sharaa, the former leader of HTS, represented a diverse array of Syrian opposition groups. Key positions were filled by figures known for their opposition to the Assad regime, promising a clean break from the brutality and corruption that had become synonymous with Assad's rule. The new government's agenda was ambitious but fraught with challenges. Their immediate priorities included restoring basic services, providing humanitarian aid to millions in need, and initiating a process of national reconciliation. Section 5. Scars of War, Seeds of Hope, Syria's Uncertain Future. The fall of Bashar al-Assad marked a watershed moment in Syrian history. His reign, characterized by brutality, corruption, and a complete disregard for human rights, left an indelible scar on the Syrian psyche. Tens of thousands of Syrians perished in Assad's prisons, victims of torture, extrajudicial killings, and enforced disappearances. Millions more were displaced, their lives shattered by a conflict they never wanted. Assad's legacy will forever be intertwined with the devastation he wrought upon his own people. Yet even amidst the ruins, there are seeds of hope. The Syrian people, having endured unimaginable suffering, have shown remarkable resilience and a deep-seated desire for peace and dignity. The international community, too, has a moral obligation to support Syria's reconstruction and help heal the wounds of war. The path ahead for Syria is uncertain, fraught with challenges and potential pitfalls.